and booze. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Meltdown Comics in Hollywood, California. I trust that your holidays were glorious. I know mine was, and I know Dan's was. We've been in Scotland, and Dan was in Ireland, but we're back now. My favorite words. I get to say one more time, for the first time in 2014, Harmontown is now in session. Please welcome to the stage the mayor of Harmontown, Dan Harmon!
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you for showing up in such numbers. I didn't even tweet it.
This is a biggie.
It's, you know, Harmontown live audience members, and not the listeners. I'm saying the people that show up for the live show. They're very fair weather friends. Like they're like, oh, the show's good again. Let's go. You remember when I got hired back? They showed up.
Right. I'm less cynical than you, maybe. I thought this was just because we've been gone for a while, and this was our triumphant return from the United Kingdom.
All right. Maybe they're good people.
Let's be honest, everybody. Maybe by a very honest show of applause, who's here simply because Community is back up with Dan Harmon?
Yeah. All right. Fine.
Okay. Three very honest people and 30 liars.
No, I mean it wouldn't really make sense for that to be the motivation. So you can probably hear from my voice that I'm a little under the weather. I caught some kind of Scottish Ebola in Scotland of all places. Edinburgh was wonderful. Couldn't ask for a more beautiful, welcoming city full of joy and delight, but. You know, two guys high-fived my rental kilt, and one of them gave me fucking, like, barbarian herpes. This is some old-school bubonic,
really?
old world microbial fucking...
You got sick, like, the New Year's Day, I think, right?
Yeah, it was, like, right after Hogmanay, which is what they call their New Year's celebration in Edinburgh, and I kept to myself that night. I had 2 glasses of cider because my rental shoes that was the only mistake I made that night. I couldn't walk around in these fucking wingtips that I got from the kilt rental place. I should have realized that Scottish people aren't going to they're not going to dress fancy for Hogmanay. Like they'll put their kilt on so that their balls can be cooled and in the nice night air, because it's fun to wear a kilt. It's more, but they put on their Doc Martens and their Converse and stuff, and they run around the cobblestone streets like pigs.
Wow,
wonderful pigs. I mean, I'm not saying they're pigs.
I wore my own brogues that night. I brought my own shoes. To me, like, renting shoes is like that's why I don't bowl. That's no good.
So, anyways, the truth is. And I say this without shame. That's not true. But I spent at least 35 minutes of that New Year's Eve on the toilet. Like, I just sat on the toilet in the stall because it's where I could sit down because my shoes hurt so bad. I was just like I was just a sad little wallflower. I played my farm game on my phone, and everyone in the other room was like,
yeah, it was a room full of Popeyes.
So I touched 2 people that night that weren't Aaron.
Well, also you were walking around in a pretty chilly Scotland in a kilt. Maybe...
I don't think that's where illness comes from. I think it comes from other people. I don't think the illness doesn't come from cold.
I was very gregarious and slapped a lot of 5s that night. I didn't get any cold.
You did. There was one guy I remember him walking by me and he went, "Respect," and high-fived me on the way home. And that high five, I think some fucking purple monster leapt from his hand to mine, and then jumped into my mouth and laid eggs in my chest. And Erin is at home right now. She's
not here.
You don't think that she wanted to come here and talk about the events of the holiday? That's how bad this fucker is.
She's sick too. Now, don't applaud Erin being sick, you assholes. That's very rude. Oh, you mean the new news?
Yeah. I proposed marriage to Erin McGathy, and Pressure's off now, man. Today, I was just machine gun farting in bed, like. Because every time I cough, I fart. And chew.
Wait, but are you saying
I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just but I also because the cough is loud in my head, so I feel like I got away with it. And then I look over and she's like, "What the fuck? What are you doing?"
And then you hold up and you point to her ring and you just keep farting.
Yeah.
Are you saying up until the engagement you've been you've issued some restraints in that department?
A couple slipped out.
No, you guys talk about farting all over each other, don't you? Like, isn't that a thing?
I have farted before, but every time I have, what I've thought is, I better marry her.
So romantic,
right?
So romantic, very romantic.
That's what love is.
Now, to take the crowd, if you would, Dan, take us through the. Now we get to Scotland. I thought. I did not know for certain that you were going to propose. I figured you were. Well, I felt like that was in the ether. Kate, my girlfriend, she had talked to you about it, so she knew, but she didn't tell me. Right. So when Kate and I landed in Scotland, we took different planes, but we landed in Scotland within minutes of each other. You guys had just gotten there. And we landed, and take us through, would you, from the beginning of the Scotland?
Well,
to
as
the proposal.
everyone knows, I'm a big planner. Like that's my wheelhouse.
As the show can testify to.
They call me Mr. Foresight. They call me Schedule Steve.
Dan stayed up all night thinking of that character name. Schedule Steve. I love that you're a writer.
So I thought let's embrace that idea. To marry me is to marry organic chaos, not
Schedule Steve.
Not an Excel spreadsheet, not Schedule Steve. Dump truck Dan. That's who you're marrying. And I thought, you know what it's going to turn out is it's going to be romantic, because what's not romantic is stress and anxiety and planning and being outside the moment.
Shoot from the hip, baby.
And we're going to be having a great time, and I'll just have this ring on me all the time, and that way, right at the moment, this is an idea I got from Jim on The Office. At the right moment, I will bust it out. It'll be perfect. So I have this.
Now stop. I'm going to pause you there, because I this is a question I don't actually know. Did you think in your head there would be a certain day before Christmas? Because we left on the 21st. And landing on the 22nd, did you think it would be pre-Christmas, maybe over Christmas?
No,
maybe?
I didn't think about it.
Okay.
All right.
No preconceived notions of what day, or what would be too late, or too early, or too anything?
No. I mean, I probably didn't want to wait till the last day, but I also knew that whatever. Who cares?
Okay, gotcha.
All right. I got my Kettle One Alliance backpack. Right. This, Kettle One sent me a backpack when they welcomed me into the Alliance. And I'm not. The story I'm going to tell you is not. You're going to think that I'm pretending that I had feelings for this backpack. Like this, I really did. Before this happened, this was the first backpack I've ever had that I was like, that's a cool backpack. Because that's like who cares about a backpack? This backpack was cool. It was a really cool backpack. It had a microchip in it. That if I lost my backpack, or I assume was kidnapped while drinking Kettle One by Irish whiskey runners or something, that Kettle One would paratroop people in, and
What is the actual purpose of that microchip?
It's like a low jack for your backpack, Crackerjack.
I mean, that might be the quickest we've ever had a title for our episode.
So we got a lot of guests tonight. So let me rip through this.
Okay.
So we're on the plane. The what do you call it? The airplane.
Yeah.
Virgin Atlantic has a bar on its plane in first class. If there's a bar in any vehicle, I'm going to spend all my time at it, because it's just on principle. It's just like if you had a bar in your car, I would, even if it was the least comfortable spot in the car, I'd be like, I'm at a bar in a car. When you get on a train and there's a bar car, you jam in there, even though it says going to treat you like shit, and it's got but there's a little tiny bar in a Virgin Atlantic flight, and I drank for like 8 hours. on the flight. Erin was starting to feel she wasn't up to too much drinking. And she ate this bacon buddy as we were landing. Like, this is a bacon sandwich that they make in Europe somehow. And apparently it was kind of bad. And I got off the plane like really at my most charming because I got this atom bomb in my backpack that is instant happiness, and I just drank on a plane for 8 hours, and I'm arriving at Heathrow Airport, which is one of the most delightful places you could ever be. It's just the joy there is palpable.
I have a different relationship with that airport.
No, Heathrow's pretty miserable, but so we get on this tram, and so we're walking through the airport, and I'm just
meaning you've flown the 10 hours to London, and you have a connector to Edinburgh, so you're getting your connecting flight.
So I'm doing bits. I'm looking at the sign, going, "Oh, that guy looks like he got antlers." And Erin's like, "Yeah, well, shut up." And she went to the bathroom, and I think she said that she vomited in the bathroom. I think, and I'm like, "Oh, baby, it's a bad bacon buddy." Yeah. We get on this tram. Stop. What were you gonna say?
Nothing.
You were gonna say something.
It was a meaningless question. Go ahead.
All right. Well, now I want to know.
Well, did she throw up on the plane or in the airport?
I think the airport. I can't remember.
Okay.
What a dumb question.
Dan, we have a lot of guests. Get through this.
I know. It's like this is insane. And guests that you have to treat right, or they fucking fly the coop, man. Like birds on a wire should be the theme of the night. We got some humdingers, people that are hard gets.
Tell the story.
All right. So she's looking kind of queasy, and I'm on the tram with her, and I'm still kind of picking and grinning. And what does that expression mean?
You're a banjo player, apparently.
But Erin's not looking too good, and I start rubbing her back on the tram, and she's like, "Please, can you stop rubbing my back?"
And these trams are chock full of people. They're jams with people.
Yeah, jammed up.
A 10-minute tram from one terminal to the other.
Yeah, we're just standing there holding the doohickeys, the handles. Everyone's standing up. There's standing room only, and we're swaying and moving, and Erin says, "Can you please stop rubbing my back?" Which that's pretty nauseous when someone doesn't, when comfort is now making you sick. So she gets this look on her face at a certain point that is unmistakable, and I instinctively, not consciously, because I loved this backpack, instinctively, before I knew what I was doing, the muscles in my arms. Years of college and bad improv troupe parties and had the muscle memory. Unzip the first zipper on the backpack, hold it wide open just as she leaned into it and fire hosed probably 8 quarts of what do you call it? Vomit into the backpack, which again, and this is the poetic tragedy of it, it's such a good backpack that it holds it like a waterproof bucket. This isn't some jag-off Garfield knapsack that your mom stuck you with. This isn't some bullshit for your pencils. This thing has a computer in it. It's the Knight Rider of backpacks. It holds shit, and literally, and it's deep, but not a drop hits the floor. And by the way, shout out to the cosmopolitan community of London Heathrow Airport. Everybody just totally. Not in a New York, like kind of callous way. Nothing against New York. You do what you do to survive when somebody has something happen on a subway. But I mean, just in this sort of yeah, we all get it. Everyone at London Heathrow is from way somewhere else and has been through all kinds of stuff, I assume. And if they haven't, just the environment kind of dictates that you feel that way. So there was no gawking, and there was no chiding, and there was no. A couple people moved away out of politeness, and then one guy was standing right next to me, right at the end of it, whoop, like a real subtle move, just pulls out a little disposable Kleenex pack and offers it to Erin, and she says thank you and dabs her thing, and the tram stops, and I've got a backpack full of vomit, and now I realize my house key is in there. My iPad mini is in there. And the ring. So we get off the tram, and I just, we go to a bathroom. And it's situations like this where you find out there are bathrooms where you never would have known there was a bathroom. I don't think anyone had been to this bathroom. Like if you're at the grocery store and you have to pee, all of a sudden you're like in some weird bathroom next to the eggs. Because I had a backpack full of puke, I found a long lost bathroom at Heathrow Airport under a stairway or something. And I open it up, and it's you use your own imagination, but it's like, so I'm kind of like, Erin's in the women's room. She's going, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm in a stall, and I'm like, "Fuck."
You can hear her through the wall.
I can hear her. She's calling out to me, and I know where the house key is, and it's 6 feet down. It's like and I'm just like, ugh. Fuck! And I just kind of thrust my hand in and pull out the key and put that down on the top of the toilet paper dispenser. And I'm like, okay, now we got to find my precious.
And we can be certain that in there, part of it is a bad bacon buddy. As a bacon roll, and it's not.
Yeah,
good. It was. She didn't just have cream of wheat. It was. Yeah, it's bad news down there.
What is this? Spike and Mike's Twisted Animation Festival? You want to talk about the puke?
Yeah. I'm just trying to paint a picture for you.
Were there carrots in it? That's not Ed McMahon territory.
Don't tell me how to be a comptroller.
Everyone in this room can fill in their own puke blanks about the actual substance. In the history of the earth, there's never been pleasant vomit.
What did she have for breakfast?
So then I reach in, I get out the ring box, and it's and I rinse everything off, and she can hear me going, "Fuck, fuck, fuck." She thinks I'm just mad at her for ruining the backpack, but of course I'm mad because I'm getting puke all over my hands because there's like stuff in there, and also I'm kind of thinking in my head like, well, now even if I fuck up the proposal, there's still a story. So it was kind of a good thing. I remember in my head thinking like, this is actually working out, except I'm losing the backpack, and I know for sure at Heathrow Airport of all places to take a backpack, a brand new backpack, and there was one tiny trash can that was smaller than the backpack, and I just kind of tried to get it in there, but just left it. Can you imagine after I got on whatever plane? There must have been like a bomb squad for sure, like circling this thing. 2, 3, go, give me a report. And the guy comes up and opens it and goes like, ugh. So that happened, and then I proposed on the muddy banks of the Loch Ness loch. But the puke, that's the story.
The story, yeah.
Because I fucked up. I kept walking around with the ring. So because I'm walking around with this ring, because I'm burdened with creating this special moment, I'm just burdened I'm putting on myself. It's the dumbest thing I could have done, it turns out. All of the anxiety, all of the stress, all of it. If I had just planned something, I could have just spent the rest of the time. I would put the ring on top of the dresser at the hotel room, or arrange with Kate to have her hold it in a thing. I could have done a million things to just relax during the trip, but because I want to play it organic and be Jim from The Office, I'm walking around with this lump in my pocket, and every time Erin tries to hold my hand in a certain way, I put it in my pocket. I'm like slapping her hand away, and she's like, "This is the worst trip ever." And boyfriend hates me, and like there was one time where she started rubbing my thigh in the backseat of the car, and at that point, that morning, I had gone, you know what? Fuck the box. Box probably still has puke on it. It's really hard to hide. It's a giant box. I'm just going to take the ring and carry it around in my pocket. And then Erin started rubbing my thigh in the back of the car very romantically, and I'm like, I grabbed her hand, like all Aspergery, like grabbed her hand and like, is this what you want? You want me to hold your hand? Is that why you're rubbing it on me? And she just like looked at me, and I don't. What can you say? What can you do? Then I went to dinner with her. I was like, okay, let's just do it at a nice dinner. Maybe we can.
This is our first night in Edinburgh, right?
We go to a decent place, but it's too shitty and cheesy. It's like a TGI Fridays. Like I'm not going to propose to her here. But Erin's bringing these presents, and she keeps. Somehow the lie became that I had a present for her.
But this is after Christmas. So Christmas had already passed at this point. We're back in Edinburgh.
Yes. So she's anxious, but she hadn't given me my Christmas present yet. I don't have any Christmas Christmas presents for her. All I have is a ring.
But you said we're going to do our presents later because, like you didn't exchange presents on Christmas Eve or Christmas because of this.
I didn't plan anything. I said at one point, every time Christmas presents came up, I was like, we don't have to do that now. There was never a good time to open presents. This is not an important part of the conversation.
I would have gone with Christmas.
So we're
seems like a good time for presents. So we go to a restaurant, and then I'm getting mad at her because she's trying to give me Christmas presents, and I'm like, can't we do that later? And she's like, no, I was like, I really want to do it now, and I like rip open one, and it's like a keychain finder, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna do this again because we already tried this. These things don't work. And she's like, what? Why am I sorry I got you Christmas presents? And I'm like, I don't know. What's the next one? HD spy camera pen. Fuck off. Check, please. Let's just get out of here. And she's like, what is happening? What is going on? I don't know. You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like you became Schedule Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, I atoned with that, yeah. So we went out walking in the night air at that boat. I was like, okay, this time I'm going to do it. I'm going to, like, we've had a nice walk. You guys went into the restaurant. I'm like, I'm going to talk to Erin over here. And I took her, it was pitch black, so I'm squishing around in the mud.
It was absolute darkness out on the banks.
The next day, we would see that 30 yards away there was a perfect spot to propose. There was a place designed to feed Nessie out of your hands, where swans would circle you and hummingbirds would pick the wax out of your ears. I did it by the wood chipper.
There really was a couple of fallen trees and a tractor and
like a sign for Iron Brew or something.
A broken fence. Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because I'm a catch. So my proposal doesn't have to be amazing. My marriage will be amazing. All right, let's get our cavalcade of guests up there.
Wait, real quick, before we do, what did she say?
She's going to do it. She's going to give it a shot.
All right, let's bring out our guests.
All right.